Just coming out of our Zergy buddy, presumably assembling around about here somewhere. A Protoss player has no idea and is pushing forward with a couple of Stalkers, which will do good damage to them, but at the same time, there's a lot more Roaches than Stalkers. He's actually assembling his army down at his third. That's interesting. Maybe he's expecting a push-up of the third, which is why he's put a wall of spines there. And are they going to get within range of the poke? The poke! The poke comes down, lays the smack down, and retreat goes the Protoss. Is he going to retreat only to advance up this ramp here? I guess we'll see. Looking more and more like it. Is the Zerg going to respond in time? Well, there's no sentries there, so it doesn't really matter that much. Oh no, he's pulling back. Pulling back. Both forces pulling back briefly. Protoss pulling back further. Presumably he's going to try and take that watchtower away from the single probe that's sitting on top of it. Oh no, he's going pylon hunting, and he knows precisely where the pylons are going to be. That pylon's going to go down like a brick. +1 Zerg missile weapon upgrades and Glail reconstitution coming out to count up against the Blink and +2 ground weapons and the Immortal of Protoss. We're having ourselves a bit of a wallable situation here. He's retreating his units back, presumably to get rid of those really annoying overlords that are sitting in his base looking at everything. Seeing the... Oh wait, that means he's seen the Immortal. He knows what's up. He knows his opponent is going tech. And we have ourselves a bit of an engagement down here where the Lings are cleaning up everything they see. Roaches attacking nothing at all, walking straight past that Zealot who now dies. Unfortunately, that means that the Protoss has seen this lot coming and is going to redeploy his forces to his third to try and save all of their lives. He's walling in with gateways and pylons and cannons. Oh my, but is it going to be enough against that many Roaches? The massive Roaches streaming down, taking that worker. He didn't stand a chance. Taking that forge, is it? Nope, that's a gateway. Taking out the gateway, streaming forward, streaming back, streaming forward, trying to get out of the range of the cannon without getting out of the range of being able to shoot at that gateway, and it's going to go down as well. No cancel on that one. We're seeing an of course place to see everything it needs to see here, and therefore he's going to know when his opponent brings his forces back to defend what is about to be a push on the natural. If he can get up there before weapons level 2 finishes, it could be a very bad loss for the Protoss. The question is he going to push right now? Yes, he is. He's pushing up into the main. Is he going to take the forge? Is he going to take the gateways? Is he going to go straight for the cannon? Is he just trying to widen this choke? Is he pushing out? No, he's splitting his forces. That's an entertaining way to do it. The Roaches coming in. Are they going to get that forge before the upgrade finishes? It looks an awful lot like they are. It's going to finish. Oh, I don't even know. That was +2 weapons. No, he got there before the weapon upgrade finished. And therefore those Roaches, while they're going to die, their lives were sold dearly. And then the Roaches on the top side are going to be pushing in and taking out all of the gateways at this site. And Blink revealed the Stalkers taking out the Roaches because it turns out they do bonus damage to Roaches. Roaches, however, just do good damage. Good damage. Stalkers going down. Zerg now on 4 bases. 4 bases, well, 3 bases mining, 1 base building up. And there's a Roach push up into the main. Oh, massacre of workers. The Protoss not doing himself any favours by letting that lot in. But unfortunately, multitasking is really tricky sometimes. We're seeing warp gates being focused down. Those Roaches are not going to be enough to take down that Nexus, but I don't think it matters. He's going for the gateways instead. The Immortal's pushing in to do horrible damage to the back of that Roach force, and it's going to clean up. But unfortunately, at this point, let's see if we can get 10 workers killed for the Zerg player. 19 units, but at this point, in terms of income, the Zerg is massively ahead. A few more harvesters. Let's see, where have we gone now? This base is now down and Roaches protecting it. A lot of Roaches, but is it going to be enough Roaches to make a difference if his opponent pushes out with Immortals? Gas coming down at the third for Protoss. A sensible army size outside is natural to keep everything away. The Zerg, however, can see dat gas. And he's going to tap dat gas. Lol. All the buildings being rebuilt to make a solid wall of photon cannons and gateways. Only gateway though, not a warp gate. No warping in from that one. Does he notice? Will he care? Does it even matter? Now that we've got production underway, we can see taking up to Hive, we've got a Spire coming down, so is he going to go? I think he's going to go for Broodlords because Mutalisks, while they're good, they need to be done harassment style, and it's a little bit late once your opponent has Blink Stalkers. In terms of army supply, let's look at Control A. Army supply favours the Zerg, but not by a staggering amount. Worker supply, slightly favouring the Zerg because he's just built a bunch of them. He's building 9 at a time. Let's get rid of that tab. It's obscuring my view of the game. Pylons coming down here. An observer chasing that overlord away. But unfortunately for him, his opponent now has a bunch of stuff. He's presumably going some kind of... Is this Stefano style? I'm not entirely certain. I don't really know. We've got ourselves an Overseer being murdered by Blink Stalkers at the back there. Because he can. Bunch of Lings hanging out in front of Dat Smoke. Greater Spire coming down in the natural, I think. Yep, in the natural of the Zerg player. Which means that the Protoss player has no idea that any of it is there. But that's fine. I'm sure he'll discover it as soon as the Broodlords make themselves known and start wrecking things up. A bunch of spines coming down in the middle of the map, which presumably is the standard Protoss. Standard versus Protoss. The wall dying horribly in the middle, but unfortunately for him, the wall of spines is going to be done and is going to cause a lot of damage, take a lot of damage. Armor 2, Roaches on 2-2, and of course, a little bit of creep spread, just to really deny any expansions up here. To be fair, if Protoss discovers he's doing this, it's the work of a single Stalker to go and kill it, but at the same time, you know. Macro hatches, vomiting out lava all over the place, spine crawlers in the main. I'm guessing he's expecting some kind of Dark Templar harass. Is there a Spore Crawler around here somewhere? There isn't a Spore Crawler, but there is an Overseer, which will do the same job. A Ling run by, which will discover exactly where his opponent's army is, and then get past them into his base. Oh my word, that was a bit of a flub there, but they're going to get killed by the cannon. Not going to get past that Colossus. Did he see the Colossus, though? That's the question. Did he see... and as I called it, his opponent is going... when behind, not only build a Stargate, but also somewhere else build a Dark Shrine. Anybody see where the Dark Shrine is? I can't. But it's not there. I'm going to guess it's somewhere over here. No. Oh well, there it is. Dark Shrine going down in the main, because when behind, you might as well. Unfortunately for him, his opponent seems to have put spines on an Overseer at literally every base he has. And therefore the Dark Shrine, less than fabulously useful. We have ourselves +3 weapons coming up for Protoss, +3 ground armor, along with missile attacks +3, ground carapace level 3, and Zerg Flyer carapace level 1. 3 Broodlords on the way in. Is it going to be enough to make a difference at this point? Actually, yes, probably. If you can keep those Roaches underneath the Broodlords, infestors, fungal growth, infested Terrans, all the fun of the fair, spines and spores going down all over the place, the Protoss pushing up, looking like he's gearing up for a massive push in the on the top left. Unfortunately, Broodlord's going to die horribly against that one. Not going to get out of there alive. However, he has put himself in a position to be flanked by the Zerg. He doesn't have any air units, but those Colossi will die horribly if the Corruptors can get within range of them. Unfortunately, there's more Broodlords pushing back that single Broodling, pushing the entire Protoss force away, doing a bit of damage, getting through some shields. We're up to about even counts on the bases at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, no, 5 to 4. With the Protoss unable to expand to that final expansion because there's an Overlord vomiting creep all over it. 3 more Broodlords coming in, another hatchery going down at the bottom right for Zerg. But, as we can tell, Protoss doesn't know a damn thing about it yet. He's got himself a trio of hallucinated phoenixes wandering around the map, and they are going to come across this and see it. Not that there's anything around there that can actually do anything about it. Unfortunately, no spores at that base. And actually, distressingly enough, that also means no Overseer at that base. Ooh, that could be a bit bad. We have ourselves some sentries coming in, because apparently he wants to kill off his sentries. I'm guessing it's so he can remax on something else, like a mothership, which he didn't have until just now. Oh lordy. We have ourselves a single Ling on the tower. Have ourselves a couple of Roaches pushing out to take out what looks like an annoying little proxy pylon. A single Stalker out here killing off Dat Overlord. Pylon's going down, and not in the good way. Fortunately, though, his supply count is well above 200, and it isn't going to cause him any problems just yet. Oh, Blinkstalker's coming in. That pylon is still going to die, but he's lost a bunch of Roach for no reason whatsoever. Bunch of Corruptors more coming out to replace them. Are they going to turn into Broods? Almost certainly. We have ourselves a bunch of Roaches going on a bit of a walk-by further up here. Is he trying to tech out of Roaches? Well, given that Zerg only has 38 Roaches... possibly not actually a thing. Oh, back come the Stalkers, back come the Colossi. The Zerg is going to try and get some kind of vision into his opponent's base, but blocking it off with a single Zealot is going to mean death. I don't know. At this point, there's part of me that's wondering whether he's just trying to do this to go... he's building another Spire, so presumably he's going heavy air upgrades, adrenal glands, which is that deliciously wonderful Zergling upgrade that nobody ever gets, apparently. A wall of spine crawlers in the middle of that map, meaning that if anybody tries to blink in, they will take some tanky damage. And a bunch more Broodlords being morphed in. Broodlord's Infestor Roach, by the looks of it. Is it not that much in the way of Infest? Oh, yep, there come the Infestors, all full on energy. I'm expecting a push from Zerg any second now, because you know what? There's no reason to waste the energy on those Infestors. We do have Zerg flare attacks coming up, and the Protoss massing his forces where he's fairly certain his opponent is going to be. Ooh, a Warp Prism going out to cause some trouble, but unfortunately for the Protoss, he's not actually going to be able to do anything with it because he hasn't got any more supply. And as all the upgrades carry on, another 10 gateways coming down for the Protoss player. Presumably they're going to be coming down everywhere. Gates coming down in the base, gates coming down in the base. 2 Stargates finishing up. This gives the Protoss the ability to go, you know what, you just wiped out my army, but my bank is enormous. Interestingly enough, I wonder what the income's doing. We have ourselves roughly equal incomes on... oh, wow, that's fun. The Protoss is on slightly higher income, on quite a much higher... oh! We have ourselves an attack coming in from the Zerg forces. Broodlord's going to be attacking Dem Cannons and taking them down in no short order. Colossi coming in to try and help out, but unfortunately if they come any closer, they're potentially going to put themselves directly in line of fire for the Infestors. Where are those supporting Roaches? Where have they gone? They've gone up. A dual-pronged attack! The cannons at the top being taken out, the cannons at the bottom in the middle being taken down. The clutch... oh, it would have been an Archon toilet, but he doesn't have any Archons to deal with it. Infested Terrans doing their thing. More Broodlords morphing in. Infested Terrans shooting dead. A bunch of Stalkers in the base. Broodlords coming out to try and do that damage. Infestors going down. The Broodlord cocoons over here being taken out before they can do a damn thing. Corruptors getting out of there. But unfortunately for Protoss, his opponent has just destroyed his 4th base. And no matter what you do, there's not a lot you can do to rebuild that immediately. Protoss hanging out in the middle of the base, middle of the map, pushing himself against his opponent. His weapons do extra damage versus armored, but unfortunately that's a lot of spine crawlers. Unfortunately for the Zerg, he's going for it, and Protoss has a sizable army, whereas Zerg is just producing 7 Infestors at once. This is again going to turn into a point where the lava count is the crucial factor in this game. It may do. We don't really want to know what's going to happen. The spine crawlers doing damage, taking things out. Broodlords morphing in. The Infestors wandering into the kill zone and getting taken down. Unfortunately, those Infestors not going to get away from Blink Stalkers. They're not fast enough. Should have borrowed them maybe. He doesn't necessarily have any observers with his army. But now pushing up into the small wall of spines around the Zerg natural. I think it might be GG at this point because he's going to take out with the serious amount of energy on that mothership. Unfortunately not for a Vortex or a Mass Recall, but the Zerg not having enough stuff to really repel that force. He's not maxing out on anything. He's building 7 Roaches, but at this point it's not going to make enough of a difference. Oh dear, this looked like again Protoss getting himself into a sticky situation and then just crushing forward. Massive upgrades, bit of a Protoss death ball. Zerg not being able to respond correctly. GG from the Zerg. And Descendant takes a 3rd match in a row. Only looking like 4-1. It's a heady game. So, what do people in the chat reckon? I mean, I'm going to say it just on the off chance that you can see and therefore type, even if I can't see what you're typing. It vexes me somewhat that I can't see what's happening in the chat at the moment. It doesn't seem to be responding. So, we're down to Great Powers being taken out. That's 4 players taken down. 4-1 currently. It's not going to be it's not going to be a complete whitewash. It's not going to be a complete slaughter. There is at least 1 game saved for Team Psionic Aftermath, but unfortunately it's looking an awful lot like... ooh, looking a bit bad. Right. Well, we'll have to see what happens. So XO doing themselves a bit of a chat, working out who's going to be in the next one. Looking at the MLG map pool, trying to work out what we want to go with. We've got the final player for Team PsionX Aftermath, trying to pull, I think he said a Tager, trying to save it, the clutch games at the end. We'll see if he can do it. If he can, this will be an insane... I'm not saying insane, because everyone says insane. It'll be an incredible comeback. Quite possibly that clutch save. Player looks like it's going to be Voss, going up against Descendant in what could be the last map of the tournament. I actually need to find out what Voss plays. I believe Voss is a Terran. So we're looking at a TVP, and we're going for Daybreak again. Interesting. We've already seen that Descendant's actually quite good at Daybreak. He knows the map, he knows how it works. But Voss has gone for Daybreak, so we'll go for Daybreak. We're going to see ourselves, hopefully... Well, I kind of hope it's not going to be the last match. Not just because PsionX Aftermath have asked me to do this and therefore got to kind of root for the guys who are bringing you into the scene. But also because more matches, more skill, more fun, more entertaining casts. My voice might give out. If it does, send help. I can read this. Thank you, Melonhead. You're a brilliant person, just letting me know that the chat's just not saying anything. But less than a minute ago, MH Melonhead saving me dat pain. You're a gentleman. Ooh, you know what? Look at my face. Don't look at that. We have ourselves Descendant on Voss, 3 spectators, one of whom is my good self. Why, thank you, Jizz. You're pretty good too. All I need to do now is learn how the game works, and then I'll be amazing. Right. Oh, we have ourselves a bathroom break. So we're going to have technical difficulties. Watch me maneuver a pencil. Actually, no, that's... What? So, maybe we should have a game of... What's... Trying to come up with things that we can just do. Sort of throw at the chat. You know, we've got 30 seconds. What if... Actually, here's a thought. What if the chat think is going to happen in a TVP on Daybreak? Anyone? What do people reckon? We have ourselves a TVP on a map with a large rush distance, walled up the middle, so you can't just run down it. You've got to do the juke around the outside. Relatively wide now open naturals, I think. Yeah, we've got relatively wide open naturals. There's not a choke really to the natural, unless you mean the one that also you can get past if you just come up from the third. I don't know. A part of me is expecting that macro game, kind of hoping for it. Wow, my brain just turned itself off. Whew. That said, you know what? You know what makes this good? You know what makes this well worth it? When you see little things like that in the chat. Oh, you guys. Oh, stop it. Okay, the question is, can Voss do what no one else has thus been able to do? Take out Descendant, and then whoever comes after Descendant, and hopefully the guys that come after that. But we're going into the game. I'm not actually going to bother transitioning through until we've gone through that little bit of lag spike that I always get at the beginning of every match. But I am drinking that delicious water. So, Daybreak, long distances, lovely thirds, weird fourths. Rich Vespine guys are on the ones in the middle, if memory serves, which makes them a risky but fun proposition. You know what would actually make it even more fun? Put gold minerals on it. Go on. Mules aren't that broken on gold minerals anymore. Come on. But no. Apparently gold minerals are broken. Gold minerals Imba, by the way. Their ability to just be picked up 7 at a time instead of 5. Yes! So, I'm all wound up, ready to go, just waiting on the players. Come on guys. By the way, if you do like the stream, do leave me feedback. I'm going to try and start uploading this to my... will be on the screen shortly. And if you could follow me, Monday nights will be an awful lot of fun with more people involved. Just saying. I'm just saying. If also at some point I'm going to get rid of this habit of looking down here all the time. Aha! Here we go. I'll explain why I'm going to have to give out later. Some mana from both players because it turns out they're both really nice guys. Bring up the name tabs. We have ourselves in the top right the champion, the Protoss Ascendant, Descendant. Can he make it 4 in a row? Take Voss out and clinch the series? Or can our brave, noble, possibly slightly staring doom in the face Terran come back, take this to match 6? No, this is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, take this to match 6. No, match 7 I think it is. And make us go through more entertaining play. Bring up that production tab of Doom, or perhaps the Sacred Production tab, depending on which side you're reading it from. And we can see that things are happening. The Terran player, the Protoss player not walling himself in, the Terran player putting it in front of Dat Gas. Presumably so he can wall himself in somehow later on. We have ourselves a barracks going down. Standard play. At this point, part of me is expecting some kind of gas build. I would have thought that, you know, based on the fact that we've seen Protoss Descendant actually macroing up quite a lot in recent games, I would kind of expect Voss to go for some kind of rush build, try and take him out as fast as he possibly can, just to, you know, kick this one in the head, get it done. If he can't, if he's going for a macro game himself, and we know that Terran does like that macro, then we'll probably, I would kind of expect him to see him build, oh, what would I do at this point? Another supply depot and then expand. The Protoss getting his probe in. One of the things that I would always like to be able to see, if when the probe goes in the middle there, all the workers attack it at once, kill it, bam, back to mining. But very rarely actually happens, oddly enough. The probe coming in to see what's happening, other than just the fact there's an orbital coming down. And we know what's happening here because the Protoss is going to need Dat Cybercore. He's going to need stalkers galore. Everyone making damn sure they're not going to supply block themselves today. And also, in the case of this gateway, there's the Tastosis pylonage. We have ourselves a pylon block going down in the natural, and it's cancelled, which will cost the Terran all of about 6 seconds worth of mining time. Unless he decides to leave it there and turn it into a planetary for some reason. I'm not sure why he'd do that. Oh well. Turns out you can block me. Anything you can do, I can do with an engineering bay. That may be a slight exaggeration. The worker, run! Leg it! Leave the engineering bay there as long as you can do it. You can get the minerals back, I swear. Running that worker away, Protoss is going to be slightly miffed that his natural's not working. But he's going to and he's going to reveal the fact that he has a stalker. The Protoss shooting it dead, and with its head it'll go galumphing back. The Terran, now having nearly finished up his natural, I'm going to be going for Dat macro game. Presumably he's going to build some kind of bunker in the front of this base, just to put some Marines in and force any kind of Protoss pressure to basically suck and fall backwards, unless they really commit to Dat pressure. He's making, he's interesting enough, he's making the orbital there. He's leaving it on the wall and making the orbital right where it is. Not sure how much I like that, but then I'm not day 9, so he is doing some long distance mining right there, and I doubt he's going for any kind of economic cheese. We're seeing ourselves a bunch of Packer Marines pushing out to the front to try and keep things at bay until Dat bunker finishes up, at which point they're going to go and sit in Dat bunker until they realise that there's a stalker, a couple of stalkers right there. Oh, interestingly enough, Terran appears to either be going for his third really fast. He doesn't have the minerals to do it, so I'm not sure why he'd do it. Or he's going on a bit of an oblique scout. The Protoss player is pushing up into the Terran main and is going to find that bunker, and the fact that the fact that the command center has moved. A bit of hull damage on those stalkers, but nothing too serious. And we're seeing them shooting dead. One Marine. All the Marines coming out. Micro! Can he do it? Can he pull this off? No. No. He'll let those injured and possibly slightly broken stalkers stagger away. He's macroing up behind this wall here. And we're seeing that macro from both players. A robo coming down in the main of our Protoss player. Slightly concerned that if those two pylons go, that's all of his production in one basket. Let's hope his opponent doesn't go Banshees suddenly, I guess. I don't know. Got a bunch of sentries at the front which can save themselves with force fields. Hooray! And he's warping in another sentry. That's a big gas commitment right there. Because if we actually look, if I remind myself, warping in a sentry is 100 gas, so that right there is 500 gas. Marines microing their little hearts out, moving up and trying to take on those stalkers, doing some serious damage, hull damage. The shields have gone. Will he see that observer? Will he take that observer out? No, it's looking like he won't be able to see it, but he will be able to sit behind the smoke. Stalkers using the cover from that observer. Unfortunately, it's looking an awful lot like that's a lot more Marines that they can actually deal with, and he doesn't realize he's not hidden behind the smoke yet. Marines microing forwards. Micro! And he doesn't seem to know that, oh, he's taken out two stalkers. A third looks like it might go down. The lost Marines, more than paid for by the fact that they've taken out a bunch of stalkers. 3 stalkers now coming down this ramp. A bunch of a marauder being made. Medevacs being prepped for, I guess. We got ourselves that combination, that traditional combination of factory and starport, with the reactor going down. I expect we'll see a massive switch sooner or later. Single Marine going down to the Protoss third while the rest of them pull back. And I'm expecting him to just sit here and wait for the inevitable worker. And then kill it. And then laugh while his opponent comes down and murders him with the rest of his stuff. But, at the same time, it would be really, if you have to be one of them Marines. Protoss, sensing he's somewhat behind the pace, and in terms of worker numbers, he's not, but he is technically because of mules. Robotics support. Robotics Bay going down for the Protoss. In again, his main is he not? No, he's not building it around the same pylon. He's now as a third pylon to protect those. We have ourselves a factory going out to scout because it turns out that our opponent's going bio, and if his opponent sees that, that should actually tell him that his opponent is making 2 medevacs at a time. In terms of Marauder numbers, there's a few, not massive numbers. We're getting combat shields, we're getting +1 weapons. One dead observer. Boom! And what looks like one potentially going to be a dead factory because them stalkers are going to kill the hell out of it. That said, they've got to get it down to burning before it gets away, and I think they're probably going to just about manage it. And it is burning, which means even if they don't kill it, it's got a slightly limited lifespan now, and is going to fall down. Oh, no, in comes the clutch mule. Can it stop the burning before it gets taken out? No, oh my god, so much clutch mulage. But no, that factory is dead and as a doornail, and thus so is the mule. But turns out Terran isn't that bothered. He's going Vikings. Because I think he said, oh, there's a drop going on in the top left. Apologies for not seeing that until the very last second. Terran pushing in, doing a bit of damage, taking out a pylon, and then legging it out of there as fast as he can with whatever he can salvage. Unfortunately, he's have to leave a couple of guys behind. Their sacrifice will be remembered. In terms of units lost, let's have a look. 5 workers killed. Not really that great, but hey. That pylon having to be rebuilt before those gates can be reused. Extended thermal lance coming down. He's got enough stuff to do a push at this point, I think, in terms of actual unit count. 9 Stalkers versus 30 Marines. 1 Colossus with Viking support to back up and kill it. Ugh, this is looking a bit bad for Protoss. If Terran decides to push now, he could turn this into a very bloody engagement. Indeed, Terran having the better economy. He's got more bases down. He's got the capacity to just push in and kill him. But does he know? Does he know? Building an eBay, getting some upgrades. The concussive shell, quite useful against stalkers, even if they have blink. Hallucinate coming down for our Protoss player because it turns out he loves damn hallucinations. Question is, will the Terran fall for it, or will he just scan and work out which ones are the hallucinations and consequently ignore them? The entire army being selected for a second there, adding things into it, I imagine. 2 Colossi down now, more Vikings coming out, bring it to a total of 5 Vikings after this, I believe. 3 workers at a time for Terran, proving that he is the master of macro, building himself another factory to go scouting with, I imagine. Oh, he now knows that the Protoss is presumably putting down his third. Will he take the opportunity to drop the living hell out of it? One dead observer. No more vision for you in my base. And Protoss now has no idea what his opponent is doing. Not exactly the best of things for him. Putting down that base, putting down 2 pylons, just in case one gets taken. Now we're going to see the Terran player moving out, moving up to the top left, picking up that Marine, stimming him forwards to see what he can see. And what he'll see is that his opponent has the watchtower with a single Stalker, but unfortunately it's not going to do him any good. Because one Marine is often not as powerful as the Stalker, but the Stalker's moved out of the way, and thus he's not going to see this army coming in until it's a little bit too late, possibly, for that Stalker. Who knows? Question is, where's the Terran going now? Is he going up into the main? He looks like he's going up into the main. He scans his opponent's army, sees the Colossi, sees the bunch of Stalkers. Does he give a damn? Probably not. His concave is good against those rocks, and he truly could take them out without any serious trouble. Will he see that observer? Yes, he will. That observer gets taken down. No vision for you. Is that the last of the observers? No, there's one more on the map somewhere, but unfortunately for our Protoss player, it's probably not in the right place. Interesting thing to note, he's putting down a bunch of cannons just in time to have them destroyed. I have a sneaking suspicion that the Protoss third base is about to die, and then the Terran is going to pull the hell out. Just take the base and run! Because it turns out he doesn't need to engage here. He's going for a bit of a strangulation build. And building more Vikings. In terms of upgrades, our Terran's going for 2-2. Hallucinated Colossi, completely useless because the Terran doesn't give a damn. 1-1 for our Protoss player, but he can't really macro up that hard. On 2 bases. He's putting his third down again. It's going to take him a little while, you know, another 70 seconds, a minute and a bit before he can actually do anything at all with that. In terms of weapon upgrades, the Terran is, well, quite a distance ahead actually. He's getting a Templar Archives, so I'm guessing he's going to go into High Templar and then turn them into Archons as and when. 2 command centers going down here. Are they going to turn into into orbitals, or are they going to turn into planetaries to keep things out? We'll find out in a bit. Mobius reactor going down for our Terran buddy. Let's see if I can find the actual thing. Oh, yeah, there we go. Mobius reactor for his ghosts. How many ghosts is he going to build? 2 at a time for now. Maybe he'll build more later. But he does need to use ghosts wisely against a Protoss player, because honestly, the ability to kill your opponent's shields, which is, in fact, you know what? Like, actually, yeah. Does the Ghost have the highest damage per second in terms of actual shield damage it can do? Because if you hit like 3 Zealots for 80 damage apiece, then you're doing 240 damage in a shot. I suspect siege tanks could probably do that as well, and Colossi could probably get up there, but I don't know if they could actually get, you know, in terms of brute, bam, 1 shot. 4 Ghosts at a time being built by our Terran player, which is a good thing to have because he needs some energy on them before the storms come down. Taking down his own rocks, because the last thing you want to do is be force-fielded into your own base. Oh, we've seen what's happened to these things. One of them is turning into an orbital, the other one is going to land, and he's building himself another command center because it turns out Terran has more minerals than God himself. Long-distance mining from this base, which I guess is okay, considering he's about to land there. Again, we've got ourselves a macro game going on, and neither player seems particularly willing to commit to anything big. We've got a bunch of warp gates with cannons to defend them going down here, and you know what I think would be really funny at this point? Some nukes. We've got ourselves a planetary fortress being built right there. Oh! The rocks being taken out by concerted Terran fire. Shouldn't take very long. They are, after all, nearly on 3-3 upgrades. The Protoss going for ground armor level 2, but at this point, massively outclassed in the upgrade advantage. Oh, this could be a very bad place for the Protoss if the Terran chooses to engage right now. He's got some High Templar, but they don't have enough energy for storms. The Protoss really cannot afford to push at this point. The Terran looking like he's making a push on the Protoss third. Is he going to cause hell for the Terran? Or is the Terran going to have to pull back and defend himself against what could be a brutal Protoss counterattack if the Protoss doesn't see this coming from 1.5 miles away? Okay, there come in the Vikings. The Ghosts revealed probably to the Protoss. And Protoss is probably wetting the bed somewhat at this point as the Terran army moves in, stims up into his third, takes down the gateways, takes down the cannons. That base is going to die. The Vikings moving into position to take out the Colossi before they can even get to the engagement. The question is, will they force themselves on the Colossi, or will they try and take Oh, that third base is going to fall. There is nothing can save it now. Snipes going down, presumably on the High Templar. Colossi taking horrible damage. Workers going down. The Terran now just potentially going up into his opponent's main, taking out a bunch of workers. This is a terrible angle for the Protoss because the Terran can basically work in two directions here. He's got the capacity to take those forces. He needs to do some serious work taking out everything his opponent has, but will he be able to micro well enough to take the Zealots falling horribly, bit of micro, hallucinated Colossus not doing any damage at all. The force is eventually going to take this Terran force out, but at what cost, people? At what cost? The Zealots being slaughtered to the last, the hallucinations dying, and while that is a bunch of Stalkers, the upgrades are behind. He's getting +3 weapons and getting +3 armor, but oh, +3 on Terran, giving him a window of advantage. Oh man. Put down the water before I drop it. This is so exciting. Yes! Flex. The Terran massing his army up here, pulling himself back, putting himself a little bio-ball together. I'm actually surprised. I would have expected to see some kind of drop play up into his opponent's base, you know, giving himself the capacity to, you know, murder everything over here. I'm actually quite surprised that we're not seeing that. But we'll see what happens. A Nexus going down, the third re-establishing itself for the Protoss. Let's have a look at the terrifying income disparity. Oh my god. Okay, so it turns out that Terran is sitting on a massive bank and really needs to make himself some more production capacity to get rid of all those minerals. Actually, this could turn into another scenario where the Protoss has just a big enough army to push out and kill everything the Terran loves. He's got an observer above his army, he's got a nuke on the build for the Terran, but is it going to make any difference if the Protoss can just push into his base and kill him right now? Oh my god, the Terran's forces seeing the Protoss coming, the Vikings moving into place to do some clutch damage to them, to those Colossi, if it turns out to be necessary. That's not a big enough Marine Marauder ball to deal with that Stalker force, unless you can micro the hell out of this, and the Stalkers taking a ferocious beating at the front, enough to make the Protoss retreat back a little bit. The Vikings are going to need to come back in right now, though. The Storm's coming down on top of that bio ball. The Stalker's getting in range. The Protoss doing some horrible damage with Storms. Unfortunately, if he's not careful, those... Oh, the Archon being morphed. Is this going to be a big enough force that Protoss can just push through? Oh, a defensive nuke going down. Snipe the hell out of the High Templar. That's a lot of High Templar death. Call down detected. He's going to push that. He's going to drop that nuke on his own forces. No, he's not. The Protoss being forced to pull back, and Terran being given that breathing space. Actually, in terms of units, the Terran is massively ahead. Where the hell are they all? Ah, it's because he's building so much stuff. Protoss' advantage is slipping away. The income tab shows us the brutal truth that is, if the Protoss cannot win soon, he's going to suffer and lose. Oh, sniping them Templar. That's a lot of gas wasted. Some brilliant action by the Terran here, moving up into his opponent's base. And actually, the terrifying thing here is that not only does the Terran have massive more workers, but in terms of army supply, let's have a look. Oh, in terms of workers killed, Protoss has lost 30 workers. In terms of army supply, oh wow, that's a massive disparity. I have a sneaking suspicion that the Protoss is going to suffer horrible losses at this fight and then potentially lose everything as his forces are taken down. Pushing the Ghost in to try and take out the Templar. The Medevac's coming in to reinforce the Marine Marauder bat at the ball. Let's get rid of this army tab because it's actually just getting in the way. The third for the Protoss is probably going to go down again. Unfortunately, it looks like the stranglehold that the Terran has on his opponent's base, taking out those Archons, taking out those Stalkers. The third base is dead, and GG from Descendant. Voss pulling it out at the last. Oh my god, that was intense. We're seeing ourselves, Descendant taken down. Voss winning, bringing the score back to 4-2. So, not an all kill. That was pretty good. I think I need a cigarette. I don't actually smoke. That's just a sex metaphor. Whatever.
No, but it's still costly.
Oh, yes.
I can see that, yeah.
We have ourselves...
Yeah.
Oh!
That's what I'm talking
All the people in the house. Hello!
Hello.
Hey.
Apologies if you hear relentless shouting coming from this corner. Well, I'm just getting to the end of my sixth game, and we're potentially going as high as 9. Oh my god, my voice is hurting already, but it's awesome. So, this clan war turning into a bit more. I may have to go and beg someone to get me something to eat, some bread, something. Oh God. We've worked out Firehawk, the next player coming down for. Okay, actually, I'm just going to step away for 30 seconds and beg for someone to go and get me something to eat because I'm dying of hunger. Actually, no, I've got an orange. It's fine. Crack into that orange. Team XO sending out a player. No, let's not judge on gender. Called Firehawk. Actually, Firehawk at this point, I think, based on Borderlands 2, more likely to be female than male. But whatever, we'll see what happens. While I crack into this orange. Really, really quite hungry at this point. Had a sandwich earlier before play, thinking it'll be fine, it won't take more than a couple of hours. Oh boy. Right. Invitational stuff. Getting me into that game. This is turning into actually a really nice series. We've got ourselves XO Firehawk versus Psy Voss. Voss pending still. XO Firehawk, Zerg player. Or at least he's put themselves down as Zerg player. At this point, I really should try and get someone to get me a knife and fork to get into this. You know those sort of traditional British oranges that are a nightmare to break your way into? You know, a complete ball ache. God damn it. And even then, once you get in, it's like you have to break through the top of the damn thing, and it's just like frustrating as hell. But I need to eat something, otherwise I'm going to pass out at my desk. By the way, if you do see me pass out at my desk, please don't, you know, like make gifs or anything, because that would be a bit embarrassing, a bit bad. Again, any comments on? Yeah. By the way, I believe Signing Aftermath are recruiting if people want to have an apply. I realise that anyone in XO is not going to go for that because you guys already have a clan. Yeah. But, again, also, remember, if anybody decides they want to follow my stream, tell me they love me. Because you know what? Everyone loves a bit of praise every so often. And we're going as XO Firehawk as a Zerg on Shakuras Plateau. With Voss stepping in to carry on his win. Can Voss make it 2 in a row? Can Voss make it? Ooh, I think we need to have another 3 in a row. Yep, he's going to need 3 in a row. After this, well, no, 4, actually no, he's going to need to go 4 in a row to do this. He's going to need to kill most of the opposing team by himself with only his wits and the fact that he's playing on Shakura's Plateau to help him right now. Bit of a macro map as far as I can tell. Really difficult to break into anyone's natural, especially if you're up against Terran, who will basically forcibly wall themselves in, I imagine. We do, however, have the fact that he can't really play macro the way he did against the Protoss, because Zerg are the kings of macro. Just because of the fact that unless you keep harassing them, they build bases everywhere. They're like, you know, those construction workers that... Oh! And we're into the game. Bam! Up comes the overlay. We have ourselves some mana. Mana from everyone. Mana from heaven. And in the top right, as the name tag says, we have XO Firehawk building himself some drones 2 at a time, because at this stage in the game that's all there is to do. And I managed to crack the orange. But before I start into the orange, I'm going to point out that in the bottom left, on the ropes Terran, go away, on the ropes Terran Voss. He's got to pull out another great game. He's made a difference so far. He's taken out Descendant, but can Firehawk stop him in his tracks and finish this series right here? Being a Terran, he's walling himself in, as Terran are wont to do on this sort of map, because he's up against a Zerg, and what the hell else are you going to do? Right, now that I'm less in danger of passing out on my own keyboard, we've got ourselves cheering for Mr. Firehawk in the chat. If people in the chat can actually, yeah, people in the chat, post up who you are rooting for, who you think's going to win, especially if they're not the same person. At this point, my instinct would be Firehawk's got an advantage in as much as Voss has just played a map and is therefore potentially quite tired. But at the same time, he's also seen Voss play and therefore potentially knows more about his builds and how he works than Voss knows about Firehawk. Oh man, that's really good. That's really good broadcasting there. Eating an orange. Also, possibly not great on the vocal cords. Hang on a second. So, Axo Firehawk putting down that pool on 14. Putting down a hatch on 14 as well, by the looks of it.
Have you seen all our consoles?
Building all of that economy. The pool. Actually, interestingly enough, Terran doesn't seem to have scouted a damn thing. Building himself in such a way that he can build another supply depot here. Build the upgrade. Oh, interesting. He's going for a 2-racks. Could he be going for the fearsome and awesome Griffith build? Which, if memory serves, gets you out 4 orbital commands, or starts you 4 orbital commands by 31 food. If 31 food is a good place to have 4 effective bases on, then Zerg should potentially be going for the same thing, but unfortunately he doesn't know what the Terran is doing yet. He's turning that straight into an orbital. The Zerg player producing himself no lings whatsoever, droning up nice and hard. In terms of vision, the Zerg player can see that his opponent hasn't taken his gas and is going to slip down and see the orbital any second now. Boom! There it goes. He now knows what his opponent has in terms of natural expansion. Back to the everyone cam. Bunker going down. Oh no, supply depot walling going down for our Terran player, because it turns out lings are nasty. A marine going out to protect, a marine going out to get rid of any pesky little overlords that thought they might want to come and ruin his day. But, you know, selling secrets to the Zerg. I always have this image of, like, overlords sneaking in the back, being like French resistance in World War II, you know, wearing trench coats and being very secretive about everything. Delicious, delicious orange. We have ourselves a pair of lings walking across the map, going to get spotted by a worker, which will die. No! Taking that watchtower. One ling is going to go up and see the wall in and then die because Marines will kill it.
No, it was already in that position.
Clutch save by that ling.
My darling, wonderful, crazy.
And now the Terran knows that his opponent doesn't have a third and might be wondering what he's doing behind that wall, little realising that he's putting down a quartet of gas. Which means at some point in the non-too-distant future I'm anticipating either a roach bust or some kind of speed baneling thing. Because you need a lot. If he wants to get a burst of gas, he can. Could he get roaches out? Oh no, he's making lings still. Oh yep, bam, roach warren. One hell of a wall in coming down here from the Zerg player. Evo chamber, macro hatch, roach warren at the front. Potentially a risk if the Terran pushes out any time in the next minute or two. Stim halfway done. Medevacs almost on the way. That wall I think is ultralisk tight, but that's about it. So, pardon me. Oh, interestingly enough, the Zerg, having seen the Marines retreat, because he has that tiny little Zergling on the watchtower. Random question for the chat. If you're burrowed, you don't keep the watchtower, do you? So, the Terran's walled in. It is natural. The Zerg, being very Terran about the whole thing, is now destroying one of his evolution chambers so he can get out. Presumably with the massive roach force he's building up. Terran, apparently not liking what he's seen. What has he seen? He hasn't seen an awful lot, but he hasn't seen a third coming down from his opponent. Which presumably means that at this point his opponent's going for some kind of bust. Question is, what's going to happen when that little Terran ball there runs into the quartet of lings here? I'll tell you what's going to happen. Lings are going to die. Will they take anything down with them? No idea. Nope, not a thing. Not even doing any damage whatsoever. We've got a batch of upgrades coming down. Tunneling Ooh. Oh, he's going for a Tunneling Claws build. He's going to burrow up underneath his opponent and kill him in the head. At this point, Marines going up to discover that mass of roaches. Run! And get in the medevacs. Run! Run away! Unfortunately, the roaches can't shoot up, but they can harass you. And he's going for a drop directly into his opponent's main. Oh, it's a very good move if he can pull it off, but the roaches will be there in a matter of seconds to take all of those troops out. Bit of harassment, Overlord went down. Terran is currently the one, however, who is... Oh, they're both supply blocked. Both of them supply blocked quite hard. Terran building nothing to fix that. Not building supply depots. There we go. Supply depots coming down, but unfortunately it's not going to do them any good for a minute or so. Oh wait, no. We've got supply depots coming down everywhere. You would have thought, actually, given that he's walled himself in with supply depots, that the Terran wouldn't have to worry about supply for ages. Zerg pushing down what I have to assume is a wall of spine crawlers somewhere. No, more roaches, more arrow roaches. Where's all this food going? Oh! There's a drop in the main. How did I miss that? I was looking at the minimap and everything. That drop manages to survive. In terms of workers killed, 21 workers killed. Brutally effective right there. At some point I will learn to watch the minimap properly. Oh, and an attack on the main that he can't see coming. Oh lordy. No, here they go. The roaches, some of them getting in, some of them not. That wall isn't actually tight at all, but unfortunately for the Zerg, there's a tank on the hill, and there's enough bioforces there to keep him at bay. Couple of medevacs with things in them hanging ponderously over the Zerg base. And a drop of doom coming down, but interestingly enough, not a turret in sight. Oh wait, no, there's a turret at the back, but is it enough? It's enough to reach forward to about here, so if the Zerg tries to burrow under it again, it's not going to go well for him. A block! An eBay block! Wonder how much it cost him to buy that on eBay. Oh, the worker being taken out very effectively by that drone. Oh no, it stopped. Back on with it. Come on, you can do it. You can kill that worker. Cancel the block. Move back in. Is he going to move? No. That SCV almost certainly going to bite it really hard at this point. But that's okay. I suspect what the Terran's about to do is let that thing finish building and then go and kill it. In terms of income, what are we looking at? The Terran having nearly twice the Zerg's income. And having tanks, marines. Is he pushing up? Is he pushing down this ramp right now? Yes, he is. Doing some damage to the roaches. Do they realize how little there is at the top of the ramp that they could probably just get away with going and killing it right now? Burrowing to get some of that regen health. Drones dying. Roaches dying. Marines and marauders not dying fast enough. The drones are still rallied into the base. Oh no! They're rallied in there to try and get some work done. And they've now rallied in front of a marine and marauder ball. In terms of income, what are we looking at? The Terran now has 3 times the income of his opponent. And he's going to do a sneaky little drop, which will be secret for about no time anymore. But he is going to be able to stick them behind his opponent's natural expansion, take out a bunch more workers. This is looking painful for our Zerg Firehawk. Unfortunately, oh, the infestation pit being targeted down. Is it doing any research? No, it's not. Pathogen glands not upgraded. Pathogen glands not going to be upgraded anytime soon. A bunch of workers trying to do their best. Pick those up. Get away from the roaches. And at this point, you know what I'm expecting to do? Drop some stuff in the main. In fact, he might actually be out of sight of his opponent. His opponent can't see that drop. Drop's coming. Roaches sitting at the bottom there waiting for something to do. Oh my god, they're actually in exactly the right place for... No, well, never mind. The main base being taken out. Dat gas. Taking out the spawning pool so he can't even make lings. If he can take this pool, I don't think he's going to be able to do it, though. I think the amount of damage required to take it down is not going to be something he can do off 2 marines. Picking up, running away. Queen's coming to take that medevac out, and they're going to kill it with ease. Boom! But at this point, Terran is pushing up the ramp. He knows he's got his opponent on the ropes. He knows he's got his opponent on the rocks. His opponent is pretty chilled, but is not going to be doing so well after this. A Terran ball moving in, taking out everything it can. The wall is gone. The Roach Warren is going to go next, I think, followed by one of these 2 hatches. Oh no, the hatch goes down first. All the broodlings coming out and trying to do their best, but unfortunately they may be a little bit too try-hard at this point. The Roach Warren dying, unfortunately 4 lings and a single roach. Not going to do an awful lot at this point. If we look at the army supply tab, 98 to 65, 17 workers for the Zerg. I have a feeling this might be GG. Roach's final wave of roaches going down. There's not a lot he has left. That spawning pool is going to die so fast. If the Zerg has this base taken out, he won't have enough stuff left to build anything at all. The Terran, however, is just macroing up. The Queens The Overlord's being taken down. GG from Firehawk. And we go into game 7. Firehawk taken down. Boss, is he going to pull a massive last second save? Wow. That was intense. Apologies for the shouting. If it was. By the way, people on the other side of the room, if my shouting gets too much, please do say, and I'll try and tone it down a bit. Because it turns out I'm in the living room. I'm in the living room, and there are other people here, and they may want to do things like use the living room. Oh well. As always, wait, it's this way, isn't it? Yeah. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube, I'll be trying to get a regular schedule of updates to that. Follow me on Twitch, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll be unprivating my account so people can actually see what the hell I'm saying sometimes. Again, comments all well received. If people want to say, you know, actually one of the things that would be quite useful at this point would be suggestions for things to things I can do to improve the quality of the stream, things I can do to improve the quality of the sound or the visuals, or, you know, I mean, get something better out of the Core i7 I have powering this beast I've got down here. In theory, I get the feeling that with Core i7 cross-fired up 7950s, I think I should be able to get better resolutions out of what I've got, but I don't know why I can't. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, I'm streaming in 1080p. Oh, hang on a sec. Pop into that for a second. Let's see. Right. We have ourselves. Okay, so worst case scenario for Team Psionic Aftermath. At this point, they'll go down 5-3, a respectable loss. If Voss can pull this one back, then we go into the clutch game. Then we go into the faintly petrifying concept of a game that will decide the match. However, let's see if Voss can do it again. We have the beeping that indicates that we're going into the match. And then it's going to be ESV, MLG, ESV, Cloud Kingdom, PhD, QQ, GLHF, I guess. So, changing my seating position because it turns out my back is slightly sore. Oh well. At this point we've got ourselves Cold Flame, which after Firehawk seems somewhat ironic. Let's see if we can clear ourselves a bit of a space in my notes in case of the clutch match. But we're in. Put that thing in there. We've got ourselves in the top right, Cold Flame, the Protoss player. Can he do what no one else has done so far and kill Voss? When I say Voss, I mean this Voss. Down in the bottom left. We pull up the overlay that shows us who these people are and their supplies, which actually is a really useful thing. I need to stop looking up at, you know, that corner of the screen because it's actually written in front of me. So, as is traditional in this map, Terran is walling himself in. Terran is walling himself in, which is not something I thought, unless he's expecting some kind of, you know, really quick Zealot rush, you know, proxy 2 racks or something, proxy 2 gate or something. I'm not sure what he gets out of walling himself in, other than slowing his economy microscopically. But he's the one on the step, so to speak. Protoss coming in, having a look around. Terran knows he's in there, building that barracks further away. Not walling himself in exactly, but keeping an eye out for things that want to come into his base and potentially build pylons. Gas going down really early for the Terran. So at this point, is he going... I'm guessing he's either going to go straight for some kind of factory build? But how? Or he's going to go speed Reapers and jam a spike into his opponent's worker line. If he can get 3 Reapers up into his opponent's worker line, he will decimate the worker population before his opponent can really do a damn thing at all. But I guess we'll have to see what happens. He has, in enough gas to build himself a tech lab add-on immediately as soon as this thing comes down. And he's actually not. He's building himself a marine. Interesting. I'm guessing he's going to wall himself in. Yep, another supply depot going down. The Protoss going up to somewhere good to put himself a proxy pylon later. Cybercore going down for our Protoss player because honestly there's very little else he needs to do at this point. He needs to get that Cybercore down so he can start pulling out units that can't be kited quite as easily. One Marine heading out towards the Protoss front line. Gonna try and do some of that harassment. The Terran player, however, doing this all off one base. Is this a mistake? Who knows? Taking that watchtower, moving back in, not seeing anything that he... I wonder what he was expecting to see at that point. If he was expecting to see some kind of attack coming in. Who knows? Factory coming down, as soon as you can, quick as you like. Will he be going for some kind of exceptionally quick starport? Two-port Banshee, maybe? He's certainly got a single gas income. What the hell is he doing? Chat, feel free chat. If you want to comment on what you think our Terran player is doing, please feel free. The Protoss player going for slightly more of a standard build, I think, going for gateways, gateway, 3 gates. He's either going 4-gate or 3-gate robo. I suspect 3-gate robo. With the DAT warp gate. DAT warp gate. And a proxy pylon potentially going up in the third of the... Oh, I see. Is he going to try and put it up against the wall so he can get his probe in? Not a chance, actually. He's gone to see if his opponent has a second base, and he doesn't. He doesn't have it worth a damn. The hell is our Terran player planning? He's potentially going Hellion drop in the main. Shazam! Dat pylon going down straight there. The Marines not doing anything any worthwhile now. Quick flash of a mule going past my face. How many gates do we have for our Protoss player now? We've got a 4th gate, so this is going to turn into a... This is just going to turn into a 4-gate. Is it going to work? I'm not convinced it will, but the Terran is moving out at precisely the wrong time. Oh no, the Zealot goes down. Oh no, the Zealot doesn't go down. But he's going to pull back with inside that wall himself in, shoot that Zealot dead because there's no way it's getting away. Oh! And yet, they go to prove me wrong. Damn them. That medevac is a little bit far forward for what it needs to be. Maybe it's baiting them up, pulling up a bunker in the front. Question is, can he see that pylon? If he can, then that'll be a piece of cake to kill from the top of the hill. Yep, he can see it, but he's using it as a bait. Nope. The Hellions going in to do some eventual damage. Stalkers moving back up the ramp. Will they take serious, horrifying damage from the bunkered up Terran in the main? In terms of workers, even worker counts, Terran has the advantage due to mules. That bunker is not going down anytime soon. The tickling is not going to be any good for that. Warping in on the high ground! Oh! This could spell disaster for the Terran if he didn't have enough Hellions there to keep things at bay. He's got enough. He needs to get in and kill those Zealots before the next warp-in can happen. He needs to kill those Zealots, kiting them slightly further forward. Light versus light, they do extra damage, but he's going to need to do that before more stuff warps in. This could be a terrible thing for our Terran player. Stalkers in the main base. Needs to get the Marauder up there, take something out, kill everything on the top of there, take that Zealot out. It's going to be a really tight hold, this one. If he can just do it, then if he can kill these 2 units, then he's taken the sight range back. His opponent knows it and is pulling back, having taken horrifying damage in terms of units lost. The Protoss not winning this one. Terran at this point salvaging those bunkers and deciding, you know what, I'm going to move out. I'm going to go and find me someone to murderize. To murder. It is, however, somewhat of an all-in at this point. Oh no, maybe he's just going to long-range mine from that base. Okay, in terms of production, the Protoss has a Nexus going down, the Terran has a command center going down, but in terms of actual army supply, the Terran is vastly outnumbering his Protoss opponent. And if he can just take advantage of that fact and push in, this could spell disaster for the Protoss, especially given that that sentry's really quite badly damaged. And sentries count as light, I think? Nope, they just count as things. He has, however, killed a sentry. That's a lot of gas taken out right there. And he's going to need to warp in a whole bunch more stuff in order to be able to resist this push from the Terran coming up right now. He's got medevacs. Is he going to just hop over and drop them in the back of his opponent's natural? I don't think it's the greatest idea in the world, because his opponent can just pull back and kill it. Oh, Protoss is moving out at precisely the wrong time. Oh my god, what a terrible mistake. He's tried to attack the Hellions, and now is going to lose. Oh, an Immortal is going to go down, potentially. Nope. Oh god, the Terran's not focus firing the Immortal. Why is he not focus firing the Immortal? He needs to take that down fastest, because it's going to be the one doing the most damage to his people. The Immortal goes down. However, the drop is foiled at the last second. One Marauder gets out alive. However, the base not even taking enough shield damage to be worried. That said, at this point, I'm not entirely certain I approve of continuing to build Immortals when your opponent has shown himself to be going bio. We got ourselves two of these. Starport with nothing on it. Putting a barracks on Dat Tech Lab. A couple of. Ooh, wow! Lots and lots of reactors coming down. Combat shields nearly finished for the Terran. Protoss shoring himself up, trying to ensure that he can't just be walked over now. Probe going to do a little bit of expandy fun. Two more racks finishing up for the Terran. The Terran also building himself the capacity to build a lot of stuff. Concussive shell. That factory going out for a bit of a scout, because you know what he doesn't need right now? He doesn't need a factory. He's up against Protoss. Why would you need a factory against Protoss? A bunch of Stalkers coming out to the front to see what they can find out. At this point, I'm thinking that they're going to check out the third, check out the natural, lose some shield damage, and then run away. There is, however, a pylon going down just southeast of the Terran's third. Has he seen something worth chasing down? Oh, probably not, but... that worker is being chased down brutally. Is it going to run into the Stalkers? The Stalkers are still retreating. Stalkers are retreating to where this line of everything else is. Oh my. Terran sees it coming. Terran doesn't realize exactly how badly outnumbered he really is. He needs to pull back. He needs to pull back right now. Building himself some bunkers at the front, because he saw this coming. Lots of stuff attacking his base. Attacking the bit of his base that he did throw out there to, be killed by his opponent. Pulling back maybe a little bit to try and bait the Stalkers a little further in before he goes for the push. There's a stim and an attack. The Zealots melting in the face of that attack. Enough stuff coming down. I think the Terran might be in a bad position due to those force fields. The Zealots not being able to do an awful lot. The Immortal doing horrible damage, but nothing seems to be focus firing it down. Kiting them Zealots. Kite those Zealots. You know you want to. The Protoss doesn't really have enough stuff to push in and finish this one off, I think. He's got enough stuff to push up and see that the Terran has bunkered up his front. The Terran...
No.
Let's see. Let's see. +1 weapons for the Terran. Sorry about that. Phased out for a second there. The Terran is pushing out. We can see that because he's salvaging the bunkers. Therefore, he's going to assume command of the center of the map. The Protoss needs to bunch his forces together, because if he tries to engage this piecemeal, the medevacs are going to make a mockery of everything he tries to do. Also, that massive ball of Stalkers needs to pull back. If he doesn't, he's going to potentially suffer quite a devastating loss. The Marines stem forward and take out a Zealot. The Protoss is choosing to engage here. Potentially not the best of engagements, because he is going to suffer Marine damage from... oh, the Immortals being taken down very, very quickly. Not something the Protoss wants to have happen at this point. The Stalkers not going to be enough to take out this force by themselves. He's killing those Stalkers really quite effectively. Another bunch of Marine Marauder coming up to reinforce. The Workers making this somewhat of an all-in, but not entirely, given that at the moment Protoss is about even on Workers. He's taking out... oh, wow, that's a bunch of Workers. That's 8 Workers right there, and some destructible rocks that are going to go down. He's taken out the rocks. His opponent's going to try and force field himself in, having killed off those Workers, but I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference at this point. I think the Workers, the units that are morphing in, are just going to eat plasma fire and die. The Gauss rifles being so effective against pretty much everything, because you know what Marines are? Marines are Imber. Worker count dropping rapidly for our Protoss player. It's looking a bit bad. Warping in units directly in front of the Terran units. They're going to just get taken out. The natural chrono boosting something. I think chrono boosting itself while it builds that worker, but unfortunately it's not going to get to finish building that worker before the base gets taken down. Medevacs pushing up. Pushing up. Nope, staying there. because it turns out you can get into your opponent's base quicker if you don't go via the main entrance. Dropping in, taking out a gateway, taking out what looks like a sentry right there, making sure his opponent can't force field him into various awkward places in the base, taking out a warp gate, production capacity reducing, stuff warping in front of the units, force fields, clutch force fields, doing some serious damage, but unfortunately the Marine Marauder Ball decided to go up into the worker line and cause hell with the worker line. Let's see how many workers we've had killed. We've had 45 workers killed for the Protoss. At this point it's looking like GG, because even if he manages to beat this attack back, it doesn't look like he can actually hold any more. It doesn't look like he's actually going to be able to take down the medevacs, which are the key to winning against this force. The Immortal goes down, the Stalker goes down, that base is warping in. Nope, Cold Flame GG's out. Aha. I'm getting some knowledge bombs dropped by the chat. So it turns out, according to the chat, the reason that Protoss would build Immortals here rather than, say, Stalkers or Zealots is because, apart from the shield, they're good against Marauders, because the Marauders can only do 10 damage, and the Immortals do bonus damage against them, I imagine. But this is Voss taking out Cold Flame, taking this to a final match, I believe. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 players from. Yep, we've had our final player from Team XO, the ace match. Who's going to take this? Who's going to lose? Who will go home winning? Who will go home in tears? Well, actually, nobody. This is only a friendly. This isn't like, you know, serious business. Is it? Huh? Huh? So, while we wait for that ace match, we'll find out, see if we can find out who our opponent is going to be. See if we can see what our opponents are planning on doing. Of course. Let's see if our... And at this point, you know what? I think this is actually the best way this could have gone, because at this point honor is satisfied for everyone. If Voss manages to kill the final XO player, then he becomes amazing. If he doesn't, he still saved the day. 5-4, respectable loss. XO CHL is our final opponent. CHL, I'm going to call him Chill because, well, I can really.
Down there and I'm not very clever, but...
Against Voss. Oh, let's not mark Voss down in the little book as having won yet. Maybe a little overconfident on my part. Okay. Right, we have ourselves the final map, the final match, the clutch game. Who's going to take home the trophy, and who's going to go home without it? Well, the beeping is happening. We know what that means. See. And we have ourselves the final match. I have to say, it's been well worth it. So, as the screen decides to come up, actually no, we'll go back to my face for a second until we actually get into the game, because that way we can minimize the XSplit streaming weird from the start. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, they're about. They are the only ones who are.
Okay. We have ourselves a TVT to finish this one off. The first TVT of the match, actually. So, let's finish this off in style. In the bottom left, we have XOCHL, or XOCHL. In the bottom left. And on the top right, our, well, actually, probably current favourite to take the series, based on the fact that he's just crushed his way through half of the opponent's team. Let's give it up. Let's raise a thought to Voss from Team PsionX Aftermath. Yes, 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 my computer is slow, we know this. Which it really shouldn't be. Seriously, it's a good build. It's a good computer. What the hell is this? So we've got ourselves... Ooh, managed to unplug my headphones. There we go. Supply depots going down. In fact, identical builds going down for both players. Nobody's bothering to wall off because you know what? That just gives you your enemy marines buildings to shoot at. We have ourselves a slight, maybe a few second advantage for Chill, but at the same time, at this point it's largely meaningless because rush build's not really an issue here. So, what I'm expecting at this point, actually, if I'm honest, is what I'm expecting at this point actually is a terrifying macro game that ends up with walls of tanks versus walls of tanks. And eventually, someone makes a single mistake or runs out of minerals and just dies. Ooh, having some Smackdown talk going on in the chat. Actually, no, it's Scribble. Welcome to the chat, Scribble. Please feel free to follow me. I want to say that the button's about here somewhere, I think, or it's probably up here somewhere, something like that. I actually need to check that one out, see where it is. So, as always, we've got ourselves virtually identical builds. Voss sending a scouting worker into his opponent's base. He now sees that his opponent has not made an... is finally making himself an orbital. Slightly delayed. Has his first marine on the way out. Supply depot going up as a potential wall in. But again, its value at this point is debatable given the fact that everything your opponent has can shoot over it. So, and of course because the ranges on the units are identical, if you're in range, so is he. So we have ourselves a Pactory going down for Voss, whereas his opponent is going for an Expo. Depending on what build this is, this could be very unpleasant. Scouting worker for Chill being brutally hunted down by Voss's marine, almost like it's given up hope. Bam! Did it see the second marine? Doesn't matter if it did. Scouting worker for Voss coming home, and a tech lab going up on the barracks, just in time to potentially swap it over. That said, he's only on one gas. We'll have to see. Not expecting much in the way of, you know, tank builds unless he decides to go for an Expo and more gas. Again, oh no, factory going down. We're looking at a Banshee build. Rallying that Banshee all the way over to just behind his opponent's main. That's a fun place to put it. The Hellion coming out of the Hellion's coming out of the factory, presumably to resist any marine pressure that his opponent's willing to put him under, because they do 14 damage versus a marine, which will take it out in 14 damage, 14, 28, 42, 4 hits. So you can get 4 Hellions out, they can one-shot marines. We've got ourselves a bit of extra energy on that orbital, but I'm sure he'll mule out of it in a second. Got a bit of macro slippage, not a massive amount. 3 racks researching stim against a Banshee build with Banshee Hellion essentially. His opponent scanning his base. Did he see what he needed to see? No, he didn't see the very important thing, which is what's on this tech lab. Ooh. And thus he's not going to know whether it's going to be Marauders coming out of it, tanks coming out of it, or Banshees coming out of it until it's a little bit late. We're looking at a bit of a push down here. 3 Hellions, 5 Marines, and the Automaton 2000 with its 10 hit points. It actually is mechanical, so it would take extra damage from things like Marauders. And, yep, the Terran pushing in, going really quite aggressive at this point. Presumably he's going to try and run past... Oh, we have ourselves missile turrets going down. The question is, are they going down in time? Yes, just in time to push that Banshee back. Where's the Banshee gone? The Banshee's been destroyed! Oh no, what a terrible thing, what a terrible state of affairs. The last thing he wanted at that point was Banshees in his base. However, the Hellions and the workers and a couple of Marines getting past that bunker. Are they going to try and build anything in his opponent's natural? I don't think so. They are there specifically to fix up the Hellions, which are going into his... Oh, no, baiting things forward. The workers not going to be able to do an awful lot if the Marines get their act together. There's still, however, some fun to be had harassing those workers. Nope. Pulling out. Another Banshee coming in. I question the wisdom of putting another Banshee in, unless he's specifically going after... he's going after the add-ons on these buildings, perhaps. Yep. That's a reactor that's not going to get built. And possibly a reactor that's not going to get cancelled either. Oh, man, if he goes... He better be careful, though. He doesn't want to go any closer to that turret. Oh, proving his StarCraft mastery by microing around those Marines. And now, potentially taking out the reactor. Is it going to get cancelled? Is it going to get destroyed? It's not going to get built, that's for certain. He's trying hopefully to bait him in with the stim. Taking that Banshee out. And now a natural expansion going down for Voss. In terms of workers, Voss is definitely behind. In terms of actual units, not so much actually. He's getting himself a second orbital up. He's presumably going to try and do some kind of harassment. These two Hellions up in the top right, still quite useful for that sort of thing. They can still get past his opponent. In terms of upgrades, Stim now going down for Voss. Stim already made, as we know, for Chill. Combat shields going down. Boss going into siege tanks. So, Medevacs coming out for Chill. Will he be able to use them to his advantage? Hang on. Let's see. So, we've got ourselves a bit of a macro battle going on here. That bunker at the front being crucial for keeping the base safe. Everyone building workers all two at a time. Bunch of Marines coming out as being countered by the fact that his opponent's going siege tanks and siege tech. Good macro for everyone. Let's see. We've got ourselves a bit of an informational glut for the Terran. He seems to have much better vision than his opponent. For instance, he has seen everything, whereas his opponent hasn't actually seen anything about his build, which is, you know, you would expect at least a scan to have gone down at some point. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Let's get back into this. We've got ourselves actually a fairly solid push coming out from Chill at this point. If his opponent's seen this and he hasn't, then he won't have enough stuff back at his base to repel this, but he does have siege tanks, he does have a bunker. He does have vision on his opponent's forces as the Marine walks straight past them. Question is, what's his response to that going to be? He's probably presumably just going to go for a run by in the worker lines. Oh my god, what a nasty thing to do. A bunch of workers going to bite it hard. That's going to be a hell of a fight for the worker line. They're going to have one hell of a horrible day. Medevac drop coming in for Voss. Is he going to see it in time? Is he going to stim up and take the Medevacs out before they drop anything in his base? Yes, he is. He's going to kill nothing at all. But the Medevac drop was completely ruined. One tank coming out. Potentially going to siege up and kill. Oh, no. No, absolutely not. Into the worker line in the main. When we're looking at the number of workers killed, 30 workers killed for Voss. One worker killed for his opponent. In terms of army supply, it's about even, but the worker supply is not favouring Chill anymore. And he's responding to this by expanding ruthlessly in front of a Marine who's going to take that base out. Actually, he might be able to save it if he can get troops out there as fast as he can. However, at this point... Oh no, it looks like it's going to go down in spite of his efforts. Cancelled at the last second. Oh, his opponent, he now knows there are now turrets going down. Turrets are going down in actually a really good place to catch any kind of drops coming in from this place here, because there is still a force here. Chill getting himself some vehicular upgrades. Hang on a sec, just sort something out. Right. That's that sorted. Okay, we've got ourselves a bit of a Terran push out here. The question is, what's going to happen if and when they spot that ball of Marines up there? Oh, he's not going to spot it. The turret hopefully going to be enough to do a bit of a clutch save. If at the end he's going to push into his opponent's base with this. He's taking down the destructible rocks in the middle. His opponent has vision over those, I believe, so he will be able to see the rocks being taken out. He knows that there are tanks and Marines at his front, and he's pulling all of his forces back. I have to admit, in his place, I would have gone for the drop just to give my opponent something else to think about. Question is he actually going to go straight through there? If he is he going to walk into the biggest tank trap ever made? No, he's pulling back. He's pulling away, reinforcing in his own Zelnaga watchtower, trying to see what his opponent is up to. 2 upgrades for everyone. Terran vehicle weapon upgrades coming up for Voss. +1 weapons already on. Oh, he knows where that army is now. He knows where that army is quite hard. Boss building himself a base with a command, with a... 1 second. Good night, sleep well.
I give you kisses.
I give you kisses because I love you.
Aw, you're amazing.
There you go.
Right, I won't see you tomorrow then. Sorry about that. I got distracted. Right, back to the intense game. Didn't actually see what happened up here because of cuteness. But we have ourselves a bit of a push pack. That, oh, those tanks in exactly the right place to kill a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, it seems like, oh, we've got a hell of an engagement going on here with Boss in a better place to push a lot of damage down on those Marines. Oh, it turns out this is going to be one of those classic TVT matchups where, oh, Boss going for a bit of a drop, but at this point, Chill not able to move his stuff out because of fear. Fear, I tell you. The question is, will he be able to actually put a drop down effectively in this base, given that there are turrets everywhere? Possibly he might be able to drop some stuff here, which will then, you know, wipe a whole bunch of stuff out, because his opponent is... Oh, bit of a... Incoming, here we go. Is he going to bait them back into the tank line with that? Oh! Very interesting tank positioning right there. He's going to move forward, take out that... Yep, there we go. His opponents, both players know exactly where each other is. Question is, can he get the drop? Can he get... Oh, no, he's not even going to try for the drop. He's just going to go straight into the natural. Is there anything stopping him doing that? Oh my word, no there isn't. All he needs to do at the same time is kill a bunch of Marines which don't have medevac support, and we've got a bit of lag there, but that's fine. Marines without medevacs are oftentimes not as good as Marines with medevacs, and this could be brutally nasty for Chill's worker line. He's going to be able to clean this up, but it's going to cost him so much. Those medevacs are going to get taken out, the Marines are going to get taken out, but in terms of workers killed, oh my god. 46 on 2 in terms of army supply. What have we got? We've got about even army supply, but... Oh, Chill not sieged up, and he's going to get caught in exactly the wrong place. Taken out. Oh my word, that's going to be painful for Chill. He's sieging up at last, but unfortunately his opponent has tanks galore in exactly the right place. He's moving more Marines and tanks back from where they need to be, defending that third base, that crucial third base. He's going to try and push in. He needs to take out the rocks, but he needs to protect his tanks while he does it. Oh my god, that turns out to be a very poor move for Chill, and Chill, GG's. Boss coming back, saving the day, pulling a Tager. Oh my god. At this point, Voss is victorious. My god, man. That was a pretty good game. That was a lot of fun. Good stuff. Well played by Voss, well played by everyone, I think. That was, you know, honor satisfied on all sides. PsionX Aftermath victory against the forces of XO. Will we see a rematch sometime? Hopefully GG with a re, but we'll see. At this point I should probably do the bookkeeping stuff. If you like the stream, if you want me to do more, if there's other casting stuff that can be done, let me know. Obviously I'm going to have to give priority to PsionX Aftermath because they did give me the gig first, and therefore loyalty is the thing. On the other hand, if you liked it, then you should have put a follow on it. If people can give me some love, follow the chat, follow the YouTube. I'll just skip back to this view briefly. Details are all here. If people want to follow my Twitter, I will start putting out on Twitter when I'm going to start doing streaming. I'm going to start putting out, if you follow me, then you'll get an email so you'll know when I'm online. And frankly, I think it might be good to call it a day there. Right, so it looks like we're wrapping up. Massive props to the XO guys, that was one hell of a series. Nothing to be said against them. And hopefully we can see them again in some other tournament. I look forward to it already. Also, well done to the PsionX Aftermath team. They struggled a bit in the beginning, but in the end they pulled it back. Voss being the clutch player, pulling out that win at the last second. But well played by everyone, and as has been said before by the great White Ra, by the great White Ra, more GG, more skill. I believe we're done for now. So at this point, I should probably. Can I stop now, please? Oh dear. Get myself back onto my regular schedule. Not going to be doing any casting tomorrow, probably because having secret talks about potential things, exciting news, but unfortunately I can't say any more than that because we're just in the planning stages at the moment. The score, basically, yeah, we've had ourselves a 5-4 win. Yeah, but as always, just to finish up, if people have suggestions, ways I can improve, technical pokes especially, because this rig really should be good enough to be able to do better than it is. Need to work out what that is. Whether it's just an XSplit thing, whether there's something else I can improve, whether there's a setting somewhere in Windows that I can just go and suddenly have the best streaming ever. We'll see. As long as the audio is good, I'm pretty much okay with this. If it isn't able to get any better, subscribe to all my things. If you need the details, go look back in the video. Watch my VODs, people. And I will call it for now. Given that it's 10 to midnight my time, I'm gonna go and try and wind down before I have to sleep. Unless, of course, somebody can persuade me that I want to do more stuff later, but I suspect casting is done for now because, oh my god, my throat hurts. Right. So, yeah, that seems to be that. Good game, well played. Hopefully we can see another game against XO in the future, with even more crushing and destroying and burning and pillaging and all that good fun. But for now, peace out.